everybody.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Knit Chat, where we get together and talk about our knits and things.
Our knits and pieces.
Our knits and pieces. That's right. First of all, I should say we are a knitting podcast. My name is Noelle, and this is my friend
Kelly.
And we are actually both in the same place for tonight.
Only for tonight. Tonight only. One night only.
That's right. So we want to thank everybody that joins us week after week and watches us after the fact. We really do enjoy sharing with everybody on Tuesday evenings. Although this is Monday. This is Monday. I've got to remember that. This is Monday. So so welcome everybody. And we probably have a lot to talk about tonight.
We do.
And I still have to pack.
Yes, and I was just going to say, and the reason that we are here on a Monday instead of a Tuesday, our normal time, is because Noelle is leaving tomorrow to head off to Greece. So I just arrived back on Tuesday, and she's heading out tomorrow. So we were only back in the same country for 1 week, and we saw each other only one time. I have family here visiting, so it's been
busy. It's been like even busy. Like just doing the things that I have to do and make sure are done, because basically I'm only home after this trip for 3 days before I leave to go to Ottawa and then on to the Hudson Valley. And then I'm only home for 4 days before I'm having a shower for my daughter-in-law. And then I'm only home for a week after that before I have surgery. So it's like I'm trying to get everything.
And then you're home sitting for a while.
And then I'm home. And then I need to plan out 6 weeks of knitting on the couch.
That's right. Absolutely. And I guess just to continue on in that theme. So I got home from my trip. My husband and I traveled with 2 other couples, and we were camping our way all the way down to Yellowstone. Well, I guess we went a little further than that. We actually went down into the Grand Tetons and back. We've been through Mount Rushmore, lots of states. We've seen a lot of buffalo. We've seen a lot of corn, a lot of cows, a couple of yarn stores along the way, and so many just eye-boggling natural events that happen in these beautiful state parks. And we've really had the best. Oh, and the Badlands too. I guess I forgot to say that. So I'm just trying to get home and sort of process that trip. And I just want to say, before we move away from this, thank you so much to everybody that followed along on the trip. Now, I shortchanged you because when we landed home, there was just a lot going on. So hence the reason for me not being able to be here last Tuesday and the quick cancellation. There were some things that needed our attention. All is well. But I still owe you 3 days of travel posts, which I am going to get back to, I promise, because it's sort of like the grand finale fireworks. Those are the 3 really big days that I was really, really excited to see. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you, because I know a lot of you were following along, and it was really sweet to get some of the comments, that, either that you had taken the trip a long time ago and this brought back great memories, or maybe you were thinking of taking a trip and this sort of solidified the fact that, yes, you need to do it. And I would say, if you have the ability to see any of those things, you really should take them in, because it was just amazing. So that's the end of that. I will post those last 3 days. What I have to share tonight a little bit later, I had said that I had taken some photos and a little video from the 2 yarn stores that I visited. So we'll get back into that a little bit later. Okay.
So where do we want to start?
I don't even know. I've already messed up tonight because I completely forgot that we had switched into a new month. And I'm so sorry, friends, but I forgot to do the draw for the August sock-along. So that will be coming for sure. I promise you. Now, you should announce, I guess, Noelle, that we have to take a break for the next 2 weeks, because you are in
taking a break because I will
very wonky time zone.
I will be in a very wonky time zone. Plus, I will be on a boat with not very reliable internet. So we will be taking, after tonight, we'll be taking the next 2 weeks off, but then we'll be back after that. And the rest of the places that we're going for the rest of the year, we should be good as far as.
Yes, same here. But for the next 2 weeks, all these like little things that we didn't talk about, but for the next 2 weeks, there are some events coming up here somewhat locally to us. So if you are somewhat local, I encourage you to come out to those. I know that this weekend coming up is the, what is it actually called? I know it's in Kitchener-Waterloo. We call it KW, but I don't really know. what the name of it is.
Does anybody know what it's called?
Julia, help
I
us out.
know it's Kitchener. It's not the Frolic, right? Because that was Toronto.
Toronto, yes. So, but anyway, Kitchener-Waterloo this weekend will be lighting up with a one-day festival, and I will be going there. KTV
Julia.
Knitters Fair. Thank you,
Knitters
Julia.
Fair.
Yeah, so I'll be there. I'm actually driving down with Julia, so we'll both be there. And if you haven't had a chance to meet Julia, you will see her because she's the one with the beautiful colored hair. And then the weekend after that is the Little Red Mitten flock together in St. Thomas at at a hotel that I don't know the name of. But anyway, there are details on their website if you're interested to attend. They have a couple of classes that are being taught there. Other than that, you can just gather to get flock together and knit, bring your projects or bring any type of making. And so I will be attending that for the weekend too. And I'm really looking forward to it. I get the feeling that it's going to be a similar vibe to
Chicago,
the meetups in Chicago.
Right.
Or I'm hoping it will be a similar vibe. It's in a hotel, and I'm really happy to be in. Noelle will still be
Holiday Inn, Julia.
Holiday Inn. Thank you, Julia, again.
So,
yes. Okay.
So I do have a couple of questions, so maybe we should start with those. Okay, so there's a couple of questions dealing with Holskarn Titicaca. So someone wanted to know if it's a good sub for silk mohair, and does the alpaca affect the shape of the sweater? I don't think that the alpaca affects the shape of the sweater, but you're not going to get as filled in of a fabric because the suri or the silk mohair has that fluff factor to it that kind of fills in. So the alpaca is nice. It's got beautiful drape. It's not going to affect the shape of your sweater, but I would still suggest do your swatch to make sure you like the fabric, because the fabric might look a little bit more open than what it's going to look with using the fluffier yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the other question is about that was someone was talking about using the coast and the Titicaca, which you used for your mid-ocean tee.
Yes, and also for my couture tee.
Okay, and you just used it single strand of coast.
Yes, and single strand of Titicaca.
Okay, yes. Because they want to do a riptide, one of the riptide patterns, the vest or the V-neck, and wanted to know whether they thought that would be a good fabric for it. They wondered if you'd use 2 strands, and I was pretty sure that you hadn't, and whether or not that would work. Again, I would say you have to do your swatch and figure out if you like the gauge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know when I did substitute coast into a riptide, I used 2 strands of coast with no other, and that worked out perfectly as far as gauge. But the Titicaca is a little bit lighter because it's classed as a lace weight.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the coast is light, it is a little bit heavier than the Titicaca.
Yes. Yeah.
So
not by much though. It's pretty close.
No.
So,
no, but your couture tee is, I think, around the same gauge as the.
I think so. And to be honest, I'm surprised that sweater came out as thick as it did. Like it really did fill in after blocking.
Okay.
Because what I was worried about with that one is because there was so much lace in the yoke, I was worried that I wouldn't get the stitch definition.
Right.
And I totally did. And that's still to date one of my favorite sweaters that I love to wear. So I would highly recommend it. Absolutely do a gauge swatch. And this is the gauge swatch. And I don't always do this, but I would highly recommend you block this gauge swatch because it really does fill in. So you're going to want to see what fabric you get, but I would absolutely try it.
Well, and I mean, the thing is, like, the fabric that everybody likes is not the same either. So a fabric that I might feel is fine for me might be too thick for you or too loose for you. So you really have to do your own swatch. And like, I think that quite likely with, choosing whatever needle size you need, you can get the gauge of the fabric using those.
So.
It just, or the gauge of the pattern. It just depends whether or not you like the fabric. So. Okay, so those were the questions about the Titicaca, and then there was questions about socks. And one of the questions was, when we always talk about our afterthought heel, and when we do the rounded toe, rounded heel, whatever, you and I both do. If we do a afterthought heel, always do it by cutting the yarn.
Yes.
Yes. So someone wanted to know about doing it without cutting the yarn. So I looked this up, and basically a lot of people call that a peasant heel, where you actually
Okay.
put in waste yarn and then you go back and you pick up your stitches from the waste yarn. There was a couple of tutorials that I found. One was by Andrea Mowry and one was by Summer Lee. So I will link both of those in the show notes for this week. So the difference being, you don't have to cut the yarn. You do still have to pick up live stitches, but the yarn that you would in essence have cut is your waste yarn.
Okay.
Right. So instead of using waste yarn, we're cutting one row of our knitting. But if you want to do it using the waste yarn, the procedure to do it is a little bit different. So I will link those tutorials. But honestly, try. It's not that scary. The first time you do it, it is scary, but it really isn't. You really only cut one stitch and then unravel it. But anyway, it has to be your own comfort level. So I will link those two other ones,
and it isn't even really unraveling. Like, you have to put some effort into picking it out. It will not fall apart. I assure you. I remember how scared I was when you showed me how to do that.
And before you cut, you actually have those stitches on needles. Like
yes,
the stitches on either side of where you cut, you actually have them on needles. But Natalie says she always does hers with waste yarn. So, it's just a matter of what you're comfortable with. So again, I will link those so you can go through and research them. And again, these two tutorials, there's lots more. Every time you look for something, there seems to be like quite a lot of different tutorials, and what works really well for one person might not for another. So, go through them. I like the ones that are down, dirty, give me the information. I don't want any extra. So, if it's 20 minutes long, I'm probably not going to look at it. But so you have to choose what works best for you. So
okay, so there was like I shouldn't even say it, but Noelle is not into the knitting foreplay. She wants to get right into it.
Nope. It's like, give me the details. Okay. And then the other one was someone that was doing toe-up socks and had watched several different podcasters do a 2x2 ribbed cuff, but a twisted rib cuff where they're twisting the pearl, or not the pearl, they're twisting the knit stitches. But they found that it was too tight to get over their heel. So were there any suggestions? The only thing that I could suggest, and I mean, still do your stretchy cast off, but if you're really finding it too tight, what you could do is actually go up a needle size for your cuff and see if that works. Other than that, if you're already using I always get mixed up with whether it's Jenny or Judy's, whichever, the extra stretchy cast off. I can't remember which one it is, but if you're already using that and you're still finding it too tight, the only other thing that I can think of is go up needle sizes for your cuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody else has any other suggestions for that. It seems like, it just takes a little bit of time to find your perfect sock recipe and what works best for you and gives you enough, because we've all got different insteps and amount of stretch that we need in a sock to get it over our foot. So it's kind of like trial and error till you get what works.
That's right. No two the same. And yeah.
So,
and that's same, our ankles are all different measurements, our lower calves are all different measurements. You've really got to play around until you find your perfect fit, for sure.
Okay. And then there were questions about people that want to join in, and we will have to do this one time. We'll have to do another little bit of a tutorial on how to set up a project in Ravelry. I just didn't have time to do it before this, but we'll look at that when we get back. In the meantime, if you can't figure it out, if you want to send us an email, I will make sure that your finished objects get into the Echo threads on Ravelry.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Krista had a good point of view too. Before cutting the yarn in your heel, she says to put a piece of paper inside of the sock so that you don't cut through to the other side of the sock. I usually stick my hand in the sock just in case, because I want to make sure that I can get my hand all the way through the sock before I snip off that stitch.
Well, I take a needle, like a darning needle, blunt end darning needle, and pull up that one stitch in the middle to make sure I've just got one stitch.
Okay.
Not attached to the other, and then I cut it that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Natalie says she finds it easier to pick up with a highly contrasting yarn as well if you're doing the waste yarn.
Or if you're waste, yeah.
Yeah, and
a smooth yarn is good too.
Yes, yes, it is. But I'm going to show you, I've got a sock on the needles here tonight, actually still Mike's socks, not done, but I used the method that Noelle happened upon, and I'll show you that later, and we will revisit this afterthought heel.
Okay. Okay. So that was all that I had. So,
okay.
Okay. And Margaret from My Wonderful Knitting Life said she uses a piece of cardboard for cutting into the sock. So
that's a
good
great idea too.
Stick a piece of cardboard in there, then you're obviously not going to get to the second layer of the sock.
Yes.
I've so far, cross fingers, have not ever had that happen. I have mistakenly cut the wrong row before, but that's because I put my needles in the wrong spot. I didn't mark it well enough and put my needles in the wrong spot, but I was still able to salvage the sock. So, okay.
Oh, Amy says another great idea is to loop a light bulb stitch marker through the center stitch that you will, and then you can kind of tug that out of the sock so that you know you've got just that one. Yeah. Oh, it's so interesting to hear everybody's little tips.
Everybody's like, yep.
Everybody's got little ways of doing the same thing, and we all achieve the same result doing something differently. I love that.
Yeah. So, okay. So maybe we should move on to what we're wearing.
Okay. I can go ahead.
Okay, you go. I'll find the.
I just pulled things in as as we were chatting because I realized I had forgotten again. So I'm wearing the Salty Air Tee by Samantha Guerin, and this is made from linen quill in the color turmeric. And I do have a picture of me wearing it. It's quite cropped. I specifically made this again to go with dresses, so it is a cropped sweater. This is yarn that Noelle gifted me with a beautiful gray to make the 1/2 and 1/2 square triangle wrap. And I'm honestly never going to get to that. So, but the sweater, I really like the sweater, and I still there's enough of the gray for another sweater, obviously. And I still had leftover from this even. I liked working with this yarn. It does feel soft. So this is the Pearl Soho linen quill that I'm talking about. It does feel soft. Some people have said that they do struggle wearing this next to skin. I haven't had that problem. Now, that being said, I mean, I'm not wearing this out in hot weather. And sometimes I think if we're trying to wear a summer sweater in really hot weather, that's where we're going to run into a little bit of issues if you're really warm or your skin is warm. But I haven't really had that problem with the sweater. I don't wear it a lot, but I've definitely worn it more than a handful of times. And I really like it. I like the color. It goes with a few things that I have in my wardrobe. And I really like the yoke. It was a fun sweater to do. I like this little bit of a lace pattern that it has. And
yeah, it looks really nice. The design really shows up nice in that, like you can really see it too.
It does. It has great stitch definition in the linen quill. And I know that this was a wildly popular sweater for people there for a bit. There were, everybody was doing the Salty Air Tee. And I think I would do the sweater again for sure. I would.
It's nice. Well, we all say that.
I know we do. But
I might do it at some point. I haven't done it yet. But
you haven't done this one yet.
No, I haven't done that one.
I know.
But there's so many nice, like there are like that particular style of sweater with the like lacy yoke. There's so many different patterns that it's nice to try out.
Yeah, and it's nice too because the lace is not that open. Right. So it does come down. We're not flashing the bra tonight, but it does come down into the bra line. So, my bra is coming up through here and I wear just a nude bra under it. And I don't feel that I have to wear a camisole or anything. So it is, obviously it's usually over a dress. Tonight it's over a pair of leggings, but anyway, it's pretty. I really like the sweater.
Yeah, I like it.
And then I guess I have something else on my head that I just paid attention to too. And this is another Sophie shawl. And this one, Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. Yes, okay, by Petite Knit. And this one I made in mulberry silk by Noelle. Help me out.
Well, it was Coriander 3.
Coriander 3. Yes, yes. I think I bought it at KW actually at the Knitters Fair, and
you held it double.
And I held it double. Thank you. I really did knit it, friends. I really did. I promise you, I did knit it. Just because Noelle knows all of my intimate knitting secrets doesn't mean that she does my knitting too. I actually did knit it, but it was a 50-gram skein, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, and that is.
But the petite knit, the Sophie scarf calls for a DK weight yarn, and that was a fingering weight. So we both got it and we held it double. So
That's right. Stephanie's asking how long I make my Sophie scarves to wear like that. I generally make them about 36 inches long because I want to wear them as a neck scarf as well. And I've shown before on the podcast how I do it. I just sort of bring it up around my head, twist it, and then I twist the ends and tuck them back in. And because the Sophie scarf, it's a really good scarf to use as a head wrap because it has that the 3-stitch, what's the
I-cord.
I-cord. I'm a new knitter. Okay, no, I'm not. It has the I-cord side that you travel along the scarf with. So it forms a really nice ridge. So it's perfect for tucking your ends into, and it stays really well on my head. So I have, I think, 3 of them now, and I wear them all the time for head wraps. So I do a lot of like the bandanas in the summer, but in the winter, I really like the head wraps around the curls. So there we go. Okay, please talk about what you're wearing.
Okay.
I'll try to keep up.
I am wearing the Seaborn Tee by Herb Garden Knitwear, and this is done in not Holst. See, now I'm going to screw mine up. It's done in Sand and Scarlina, which is the stripes, which the stripes are Sunny Lime is the colorway, and then the base of it is Drops Bell. And that's just I don't think it's called navy, but it's basically navy. So basically those 2 yarns, the composition is the same in the yarns. And I did not notice any difference whatsoever knitting the 2 yarns into the same sweater. So like, I'm not sure if you gave me them without the label, other than I think the balls, the bell is wound a little bit tighter into the actual skein, or the, whatever you call it when it's in a ball, it's wound tighter. And the Lena is a little bit looser. But other than that, if they were kind of wound into a cake, I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference between the 2. So where you might find a difference in one or the other is in the color selection that's available. So I really do like the 2 colors together, the navy and this kind of sunny green or sunny lime. The pattern was really fun to knit. It is bottom up, which I don't do that often, although it seems like there's more that I'm doing now that are bottom up. So it starts with a lace panel around the bottom, and then you knit up. So far, the pattern gives you different sizes, so you can make a combination of what you want for your chest width and what you want for your arm circumference. So you kind of pick each, and then there's a chart that tells you how to do that. So I did make a couple of modifications. So when you got to the sleeve, you won't be able to see it, but the sleeve does have the lace pattern. There, you can see it there. Yeah. The sleeve does have the lace pattern around the bottom of the sleeve as well. So the sleeves were supposed to be knit bottom up. I didn't want to do that because I wanted to pick up the stitches and knit down, because the pattern had you kind of casting off your stitch with picking up from your, and I just didn't want to do it. I probably was easy, but I didn't want to do it. So I decided that I would knit my sleeve top down, but then this lace, some of the lace that you get around a border has to be knit in a specific direction. So you really had to knit this bottom up. So what I did was I knit bottom up for just the lace, did a stocking stitch row and left it, knit my sleeve down, and then I used the Finchley graph to put the lace pattern onto the end of the sleeve. And I found that worked out really well. So, and then the other difference is the actual neck of the sweater kind of had a little bit of a rolled edge. And I just know that this yarn tends to grow a little bit as you wear it. I know you can get it back into shape by putting it in the dryer after you've washed it. But while you're wearing it, I thought the rolled neckline might actually stretch out more than I'd like. So I just did a 1x1 rib.
Twisted rib.
Twisted rib. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it does have, like, down in the lace pattern, there is twisted rib in the lace pattern at the bottom and on the sleeve. So it kind of balances it out. So yeah. So, and Tracy just pointed out there too, that Drops Bell is cheaper than, although both are relatively affordable, but the Drops Bell is cheaper, especially if you get a sale.
And you often can get that on sale as well. So, yes. Yeah. It's usually, 20 to 30% off sometimes. And we order from usually Wool Warehouse.
Wool Warehouse. Yeah. But I do believe that if the Drops is on sale at Wool Warehouse, it means it's probably on sale everywhere, because I believe it's the company that kind of does the.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So. I think you could actually go to like the Drops website, and if it was on sale at Wool Warehouse, it would be on sale there. So you kind of probably want to look at where you're going to pay the least amount of shipping.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So
good to know.
Yeah, because I know that it tends on Wool Warehouse, if they do have it on sale, a lot of the colors sell out quickly.
Yes, they do. They really do.
So, and it is a really nice, like, today was a perfect day for it. Like, again, it is a DK weight, so it's probably not something I'd wear in the middle of summer, but it's nice for kind of when it's about 70 degrees. What's that in our language? Like 20. Like, it's nice when it's about that.
70 degrees. Yeah. I think it's about 19, but
yeah. So
Emily's asking if we charge duty. I have not either, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen.
No, that's right.
We're ordering from a different country. We certainly are eligible to be paying duty. It's just hit or miss. I have heard of people that have been charged it, and then others not.
I have ordered from Wool Warehouse and not been charged. I've ordered from Housekeeping and not been charged. But I ordered from Pro Soho and got charged. Ordered from different places in the state. Yeah. So you just don't know. But you just got to be ready for it in case you are.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay. Do you have any finished objects?
Oh, it's upstairs. Okay. Yeah, I do. I have one, but I left it sitting upstairs. Okay. I'm going to go and retrieve that.
Okay. Well, I'll start. I have 4.
Okay. I won't hurry then.
Okay. So I'll start. Okay. So my first finished object, and this was supposed to be some of my knitting, my plain knitting, but I got a lot of it done. So my first finished object is the 4 of a Kind by Brenda Brayfield. Now, this particular pattern, she's got it's a set of patterns. It's a set of 4 different patterns, and they basically take a skein of fingering weight yarn. So let me see if I still have some pictures in here for that. Okay, so there's a look at, this is the version that I did. I think I took the other ones out, but the other ones were like, they're a little bit different in design, in the details in it. So in the pattern, they're called the, let's see here, spread. It's the Be Kind. It's called Spread Kindness, Be Kind, Kindness Matters, Random Act of Kindness. And the 4 of them are contained in the one pattern. So here's mine. And I did mine in Full Moon Fibers. This is is it Solar Sock? I think it's Solar Sock. This is called Night Swim, this colorway. So it's a deep, deep navy, and it's got just these little flecks of color in it. And this took, I believe, 83, I think I've got 83 grams of yarn in this. And I haven't blocked this yet, so I know if I want to, I could stretch it out more. But I just was wearing it like this because I want to show you the other little thing that I made. Okay, so get my hair out here. But in the pattern, there's also the instructions to make this little cuff here. So when you do it, you can put it on, and then you can stick your ends of your scarf through this little cuff. So it'd be kind of like if you had a shawl thing or something from something else, but you can push that right up, and it just finishes it off like really nicely. So it's
nice. I like that.
Yeah. So it's nice and snug around your neck. And like I said, there's my tail. So it's not super long. I don't have pictures yet because I haven't got it. Like I said, I haven't blocked it, but I really like it. And I really like that little cuff. And then you've got the choice of using that with it or not using it with it.
It would even be nice to make the cuff in a coordinating yarn.
Yeah. You could pick out one of those, like the purple or the little blue. And she's actually I'll show you when I get to one of my other FOs. She's actually got another little shawl cuff that she shows you where you can put like a buckle or something on it.
Oh, cute. Really nice.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm really happy with this. It's going to be like perfect with a jean jacket when it's cooler out. And I like the fact that once you put that on there, it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
Right. So, but right now it's too hot. So that is the Be Kind shawl by Brenda Brayfield, and super easy to knit. I did knit this in a car, and then it was close to being done, and I thought, well, I need something else easy, so I don't want to take this with me because it's almost done. So I had to get it done so that I could then start something else to come with me. So okay, so in the vein of that, I'll just go on to my next finished object because it's in the same yarn. So, and I still have 8 grams of this yarn left. So that was the Full Moon Fibers. I've knit the Be Kind shawl. This is called the Circle of Kindness.
Oh,
because
I like that.
they're all the shawls in that particular grouping all have kindness in them, and this is called the Circle of Kindness. Okay, so then. Look.
Oh, they're so cute.
So these are, and I do have a banner for it too. These are the
perfect newborns.
The perfect newborn socks.
I'll look for it. Go ahead. Keep chatting.
Okay. I know I put it in there somewhere. Anyways, I found it. Perfect Newborn Socks by Tabitha Gandy. So these again are in the Full Moon Fibers Solar Sock, and this is the Night Swim colorway. I love this color. Like
those little flecks of color.
It's just so nice. Pretty. And so the only difference I did in knitting these was I did the cuff a little bit longer because I figure you can pull it up. Whoops, there goes one. You can pull it up the leg, or like you can turn it over and it makes a cute little cuff sock.
Yeah. I love knitting those, and they are a good fit, and they stay on baby too.
Yeah. So, and they're like, when you take them off the sock blocker, you can see that why they stay on. Like, look how skinny that cuff is with it's a 2x2 rib. Mm-hmm. So, and it's a free pattern. It's a 2x2 rib. So it really kind of
snugs in. It really does.
The leg. And it's also the 2x2 rib still across the top of the foot. Mm-hmm. So, and those only took 17.8 grams, and I still have 8 grams left of that yarn.
What can you do with 8 grams?
Oh, I can make another one of these.
Yes.
So I might make one a little bit tighter, so that if I only had the little tiny ends, if I tied something that I only had the little tiny ends, then I could put it through that.
You could also put it on your ponytail.
Yeah. So anyway, and these are, I'm going to have another little baby grandson. So these are for another baby grandson is expected in beginning of December. So I have to start knitting a few more little baby things, but I thought those were really cute for a little boy.
They are very cute. Very cute. Yeah. I have that Night Swim in, it's a really dark color, but it's got pops of that like almost fuchsia pink. Mm-hmm. And I really like it, which is why I bought it. And I have yet to knit with it, but that sort of makes me think I should pull it out and get going on it. So.
Yeah. So anyway.
Okay. So the one thing that I finished this week, and I will admit there has been precious little knitting in my month. There really hasn't been. As soon as we got back, as I mentioned, my brother and his wife and my niece are here visiting for, it was just shy of 2 weeks. So there wasn't much knitting time on the trip. And then there really hasn't been very much knitting time. We're doing a lot of visiting. We're doing a lot of getting out to do things and game playing at night and stuff. So there's not very much knitting. But I did finish Miles' little sweater. Cute. And I say it's finished, but it's really not finished yet. I haven't done my embroidery, but I'll show you the sweater anyway. And it turned out so good. This is my first flax sweater. And I left the garter ridge in. I really like this. The sweater is by Tincanknits. I do have a banner. Well, maybe I don't. I don't see one there.
Okay, I'll type it in.
Okay, thanks. Anyway, so this is the flax by Tincanknits. The great thing about the flax pattern is it goes all the way from an infant size up to an adult. So, and this is a free pattern that they have put out. And this is probably, this almost has to be rivaling the ranunculus for how many people have made this sweater. It's available, the pattern in two different weights. I use the worsted weight pattern for Miles. This is the size 2 to 4. I did make the body a little bit longer and the sleeves a little bit longer. He's still pretty thin, like not thin. He's lean. He doesn't stand still. So, but I wanted the sweater to be a little bit longer. This was sort of Kendall's request too. He is starting preschool, and he will be going to an outdoor preschool. So they need to have cozy knits. So what I plan to do is actually, have I got it here? Yes, I do. If I pull it down, maybe I'll get around to getting it done. But there's a, in here in this book, can I find the leaf pattern? And I'm shamelessly copying Sarah, who made one. And oh, darn, I thought it was like so easy to see. Sorry. You'll have to see it when I embroider it. But anyway, it's some different leaf patterns, and I thought it would look really good for him for his outdoor preschool. Oh, those are cute too. There's some pretty flowers in here.
There's some nice, I've been
really,
looking through that. There's some
really
nice
pretty.
Yep.
This is the book, Embroidery on Knits. And yeah, so his sweater will have different color. I'm thinking, maybe some various shades of green, maybe a little bit darker brown, just make it sort of look like a little fall leaf sweater. And this was using the Barocco Vintage, which is the worsted weight. There is a Barocco Vintage DK as well as a sock yarn. And I think there's also a bulky too.
Chunky, yep.
Yeah, but this is literally so soft. It's not been blocked yet. There is, I'm trying to think of what the makeup of Barocco is. There's acrylic in there.
There's 40% wool, but then the rest is like it might be similar to the sock yarn that I'm going to show, but yeah, but it feels really nice, and it's got gorgeous colors and a wide variety of colors.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and it is perfect for, well, that's what I made my my crochet sweater out of, but it is perfect for kids ones that you can kind of throw in the washer and dryer if you want to.
Yes.
So.
Barb's asking me if this is my first tin can knit, and then I'm trying to think, and it very well might be. Like, I feel.
No, you did a love note.
Oh, I did a love note. You're right. Okay, knitting friend. Thank you. Yes, I did a couple of love notes actually. Yes. So no, Barb, it's not my first tin can knits pattern. Yep. But I really did enjoy making it, and yeah, it wasn't onerous. It was very good campfire knitting. It was good for knitting when I didn't want to look at it, because you can just knit around and around.
And you know what? That, like, a lot of people, when they do it, they leave out the garter detail down the sleeve. But I think if you're doing it in a plain color yarn, that garter stitch down the sleeve just gives it a little bit of something. Like, I can see if you're doing it in a really variegated yarn, it's not going to show up that much anyway. But I think in the solid color, that's just a nice little accent.
Yes. And yes, Natalie, I did do the antler hat and mittens too.
Yes, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you've done antler things too.
Oh my goodness, I can't keep track. Anyway. It's a good thing I have friends to keep me honest, right?
Okay, so my next finished object is again by Brenda Brayfield, and it's the Dunloose shawl. I had just barely started this, but that was 2 weeks ago on the last podcast. But I do have some pictures. Again, the pattern, she shows it in a lot of different sizes. So here's kind of what it looks like. You get those nice little ridges in the body of the shawl, but then there's a larger one, and there's the idea of where she does the little buckle thing. So where you can tie over to the side, and then you make that little kind of what you should call it there, ring of kindness or whatever, and you can put the little buckle on it. And then there's just an example of the 4 different sizes that the pattern gives you that you can make. So I did mine in Mayak Naturally Soft, which is, I believe it's 50% baby yak, 50% silk in the color Mellow Grana. And here's.
That looks so good.
And again, it's again about the length of like a Sophie scarf. And this one I just like kind of quickly steam blocked it. So I could, but I think it's long enough. So I don't think I would, I don't think it would make it any longer, but it is, I can't do this without seeing, but anyway, it's basically, will tie up the same as a Sophie. You can kind of, where my end, you can kind of tie it over to the side if you want, or down here. And again, I think that's probably about the perfect length for putting as a hair wrap. And I think I did have a picture of that too, because she shows it as a hair wrap as well.
She sent me
there.
Excuse me. She actually sent me the pattern, and she sent me a note, and she said I was the inspiration for that about the hair wraps. So I'm definitely going to make that, because yes, that's a hair wrap I could definitely get into for sure.
So, and there is not a single purl stitch in this pattern.
That's right.
So not one purl stitch, super easy. This could definitely be like on the go knitting, take to the coffee shop knitting. And I weighed mine when I got to, you get to a center part. So I weighed it so that I could use the bulk of my yarn. And from a 25-gram skein, I had 1 gram left of the,
I know that feeling,
of the Mayak. And for this one, what was I going to say? Yeah. So it would have used, this was a 25-gram skein, but I think it might've been a little heavy. So 25 grams of yarn. So it's a perfect pattern to use, like, you know, that one special little skein, and it's a fingering weight yarn. Perfect gift project.
That would be an exquisite gift. That Mayak yarn. Let me tell you, friends, that's amazing. Amazing.
And again, this is, I think it might be done a little bit differently, but it's the same. It's got the I-cord edges on both sides. And then all this pattern in the middle is created without having to do any purl stitches.
I'm excited.
So
no purling.
No purling.
No purling.
So, okay. Do you have any other finished objects? No? Okay, I have one more. So I have finished my Faramir socks. Yay!
Yay.
These are my September socks.
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh.
only like that.
You get a month off now.
They are
very
I love
cool.
Them. Absolutely
very cool.
Love them.
Yes.
So the stitch definition in this yarn and the color of it, like that gray, and this is actually a really inexpensive yarn. However, I think that it is no longer, that it's discontinued. So this is Diamond Luxury, but maybe some of you have it in your stashes. It's Diamond Luxury Tradition Sock, and it is a combination of 42% wool, 51 acrylic, and 7% nylon. But the stitch definition that this gives is just
amazing.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
And I've got a couple of more close-up pictures so you can see it a little better. And then I just put in the heel is, I've got that. I'll show it in a minute after I show the texture here. So that's, you can't really see that on the blockers, but that's the front of the sock. So that goes all the way up the front, and it also goes down the back of the leg until you get to the heel.
That is really something. Look at the definition.
Really,
and there's like depth to that. I'm pointing at my screen and you can't see it, but inside that cable, there's like another little square going on in there.
So yeah. And then down in the, like, that's like the cables that go up the side of each side of the sock. But the actual original pattern, she had the pattern coming again right down into the heel. Well, I want the heel to fit in so I didn't do that. So again, I adjusted when I got to here. I kind of decreased to my 72 stitches. This is an 80 stitch sock. 80 stitches. And then, so then I decreased, and then I did the sole of my sock just with the 72 stitches. And then it's really neat because the pattern of the sock, as you saw in this one picture, is carried right down into the toe of the sock. You can't see it with the name there, but it's carried right down into the toe. So it was a really fun knit. Again, I wanted to get this done because I knew that this would not be a sock that I was knitting on the boat, because I have to kind of had Knit Companion open, but really, really enjoyed knitting that. And the other yarn that I've used for the heel is,
Kathy wants to know if you had to use a cable needle for that.
I did. I didn't do it for the 1x1 cables, but some of the cables were like 2x1 or 2x2. For those, I used it because I'm on small needles and I just don't want to drop them. But for all the 1x1s, I don't. So this is Universal Yarns Curio Mini. So there's kind of what it looks like. This color is called Root Beer. So
Mm-hmm.
these are little 25-gram minis. They come in a wide variety of colors, and they're perfect for heels, toes, or kids' socks, like they're 25 grams.
Yeah.
We got this in Chicago, but Country Yarns, if you live in our area, Country Yarns does carry this.
Yes.
So, and
Does
then
she have a lot of colors? Does she have a lot of colors
I
in
think
it?
so. I haven't been out to see it. I just saw it on her website.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, so I was going to go buy some because I thought, oh, but I don't want to use that color because I want it for that. But I thought, Noelle, use the color. So I used it. Okay.
I love having little minis like that. And somehow, like, they look really big, even though they're 25 grams. They
I
look
know.
so big when
I
they're in a
know.
ball like that.
So, and then this one, I just love that kind of heathery gray. And this was
Yes.
just went by color number. So what color number was it? If you can get it anywhere anymore, it was color number 1801. But yeah, like, so sometimes, like I don't often like use something with this much acrylic in it, but that just made this pattern pop. So
Yes, it did. It really did. They look great.
yeah, so that's 9 pairs. 9 pairs are done. 9 adult pairs are done. And like I said, like that one was 80 stitches. Another one was 88 stitches. I'm like,
Okay. Oh, and Heather is saying, yes, Country Yarns has a good selection of the colors. Good. Good to know.
yep. So I have not picked out next month yet because I'll think about that after I get back from vacation.
Yes.
So,
yep.
Okay. That's it.
That's enough.
That's it for finishes. Okay. Whips.
Whips I have.
Okay.
Whips I got.
How many whips do you have?
1, 2, 3. 3 that I'll talk about.
Okay. I have 4.
Okay. So you get to start.
Okay. My first whip is I am working on the Tree Hugger cardigan. I do have a picture of it. This is a pattern. This is a sweater that Jacqueline actually really liked, and she picked out the yarn for it when we were in Muskoka at the Muskoka Yarn Connection.
Mm-hmm.
And did I take that? Oh no, there we go. Okay, so it's a bulky, although the yarn is Muskoka Yarn Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember. There, you need to tell me. You did a hat in it. What was
I did do a hat. What are we looking for? It's a bulky.
It is bulky, but
Yes.
I can't remember the actual name of the brand. I know it's Muskoka Yarn Goddess, but I can't remember the actual line. But it is an alpaca wool blend, and beautifully, beautifully drapey and soft.
Mm-hmm.
There's an alternate view of the cardigan. So it's got the split hem down at the bottom. It's an open cardigan. There's no no buttons or anything that have to go on it. I just started. Well, I haven't just started. I've got a lot done. I was just going to pull up the name of it here.
I was just looking at my projects, and you know what? I missed putting that one in altogether.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. So this is what I've got done. And I finished the back, and I finished the 2 fronts, and I've got them joined. So the pattern is done. It is done in pieces. So I did a 3 needle bind off when I did the shoulder seam, and
I like that for stability.
She had done a steeped cast off, and then you sew it together. I didn't want to sew it together. So I just did short rows, did this, and then I did a 3 needle bind off. And then you go around and you pick up all for the button band, not button band, but it's still the button pull band,
right?
Band, even though you're not putting buttons on it. And that's on a 6.5 millimeter needle. So I do have that in a circular, but the body of the sweater was knit on a 7 millimeter, and I only had those in straight. So I knit the body in pieces. Now you're supposed to knit the sleeves up and then join them. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick them up. I'm going to pick them up, knit down. I'll still do them straight because they're on 7s and I don't have a circular 7. So I'll still do them straight. I don't mind doing side seams like that. I don't like sewing drop shoulder seams on. So I will pick up the stitches and go down. So this is not coming with me because it's just too bulky, but hopefully I'll be able to finish it within a few days after I get home, because it is like a fairly big gauge. I believe it's 14 stitches and 18 rows. So it does knit up fairly quick. And I just love the color that she chose. And I think the color
really
is
pretty.
It's
interesting. On
a really
screen,
nice.
it's almost coming off as like a mixture of a green and a pale blush pink. I don't know what it looks like in
No,
real.
it's like a pecan color almost, like.
Okay, so it's not reading
So
the same on screen, but it's
no,
very pretty.
no,
That
yeah,
stitch is really nice.
yeah. It's like super easy. It's easy to read it, and I wish I had time to go through. I would feel so much better if I got the band done, because then I know it wouldn't take me any time at all to. But I've already figured out how many stitches I have to pick up for the band, so it's not going to take long once I
There you
do
go.
it. But I better write that down before I go away so I don't forget. So that is my first whip. So
Okay. I still have Mike's socks that I'm working on using the Patton's Croy. So I finished the first sock, and now you can see it actually on a sock blocker, what it looks like. I'm pretty happy with it. He has tried it on and says it is the perfect fitting sock. So I'm really happy with that. Well, I'm really happy, but am I really happy? Because if he really likes them, he's going to want more pairs. So I don't know how I feel about that. But what I wanted to show, because we talked about this earlier, was this clever little trick that Noelle came upon when she was knitting and told me about, and it made perfect sense. Funny things that you just don't think of until somebody else thinks of them, and you're like, why didn't I think of that? So instead of using waste yarn, so I have the Chaogu sock needles there, and they are on the little mini cords. It's a very long cord, but it's super flexible. So because it is that very thin cord, you're able to use that. So what I have done is that is actually what I have in there as my waist, is the cord. So I won't have any waste yarn that I have to deal with. All I have to do now at this point is go in there with a pair of scissors in the middle, cut that stitch and pick. And then I already have them on needles ready to do the heel. Now, when I do use this method, I don't finish the sock before I do the heel. I'll probably knit maybe just a little bit more, like another ½ an inch or so. And then I will go back in and put in that heel right here, and then finish off the sock down to the toe, and then switch out and do the black. So this is the Croy colorway in Eclipse, and I'm knitting 68 stitches. And this is actually, where'd it go? Oh, I already wound it up too. I had this much left from that 150-gram ball. I was surprised. I didn't think I would. I guess it's because I did a contrast heel and toe. But I was pretty happy that it ended up in the light, because I really like the way the black looks against that light gray. But yeah, he's pretty happy with them. So I may have to knit more Mike socks in the future. But anyway, this should not take me this much longer. Now that I'm home, I should be able to concentrate on getting some things done. Okay. You?
Okay. I went and grabbed a ball of the yarn. So there it is. So it is Muskoka Yarn Goddess. Hand-dyed creative musings, and the actual like line of the yarn is called Woodland, and the color is called Chestnut. And it is dyed by Michelle Meadows, and she is the owner of Muskoka Yarn Connection. And the composition of it is 80% merino, 15% baby alpaca, and 5% viscose. So okay, my next whip, I had to start something for the plane.
Yes.
So I did. And I started this on the weekend at.
How long will you be on the plane?
One of the flights is 8 hours and the other is an hour and a half, maybe. But then we've got a 5-hour layover in the airport. And
okay. So whatever it is you're knitting on should be done by the time you get there, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm hoping. So I have it on my little thing that I can hang up so I don't have my yarn ball falling under my seat in the airplane. And these are a pair of socks for Ross. They're just started. So there's what I've got so far. So I did just put like a little pattern down each side, so I can't wear them the wrong way.
That's what I did too. There'll be no wearing them the wrong way.
Because I would tell him all the time, Ross, your socks are on wrong. And he says, they're fine. I'm like, no. So anyways, so I'm putting a little pattern down the side, and that's actually a good way to keep track of your number of rows as well. So this is a 72 stitch sock, and this yarn is Flot Sock Bamboo Merino. And this is a yarn that I got up in Huntsville at a yarn shop in Huntsville, which I can't remember the name of. But anyways, he picked out the color. He really liked the color. So this was really cool in the ball band. So that's the one side. But when you take the ball band on the inside, it actually gives you a banner that says like handmade with love. So you can put it around your socks when they're done to give them away.
Oh, how cute is that?
I thought that was really cool. So
that's so clever.
On the one side, it does give you an idea of what the sock yarn is going to knit up like, which he really liked. And now you can see I put a little pop of orange at the top of the sock. And that again is the little minis that just like the other one, but this color is called pumpkin.
And is that going to be your heel too?
That's going to be, I don't know about my toe, but it's going to be my heel.
Lisa says it was called Knitting 3 Together is in Huntsville on Highway 60. Yeah.
Yes, that's where it was. So anyway, so he was there. And I like to buy yarn, and I feel better if he picked. I mean, I don't buy less yarn because he picked out something. I just buy more yarn because he.
Can we make it a new rule? Can we make a new rule that also, if your husband buys yarn for himself, that also doesn't count as a acquisition? How about that? Because we already know that condiments don't count as acquisitions. Right. Can we say that husband purchased yarn doesn't count as an acquisition? Okay, sure. Let's say that. Let's add that rule to the knitting handbook, friends. Okay. We like that. So rule.
Yeah, so I'm really liking the feel of the bamboo. It feels really nice and soft. So anyway, so that's for the plane. That's ready to go. So I haven't packed my clothes and stuff, but I know what I'm taking knitting wise, and now I'm going to see how much room I have left for clothes.
Yeah.
So
Haley and Tracy think that's a good rule. So all in favor?
Yeah, I
passed. Okay. Okay. My next little thing. So I've got one done. I have a hoe. I have a half finished. But I don't have a sock blocker, so they're still going to look ridiculous. But I finished the little socks for Mile, or finished a sock for Miles. And this is the DRK Everyday Sock. I don't know if I made a banner for that or not. But this is using a little bit of Regia yarn that I had left. So I don't know. There's just like no way to show you. It's one of the best fitting socks that I own, and I've actually made Kendall a pair, and she loves them. She has a shorty pair in this same yarn, and this is leftover yarn. So now Miles will have some socks to match his mom. But it is the 2x2 rib all the way down on the sock. So you do get that really scrunchy good fit. It has a Flegel heel, which just ended at look at this great spot for that heel to happen, like all of this solid blue. I'm really going to have to dig into the balls to find out how to get back to a matched pair for him, because I'm going to have to match those. This pattern is a toe up, and it has very clever way of increasing for the gusset. So you knit up, you're increasing, and then you do this fun little Flegel heel, and then you just do 2x2 rib all the way up. I use just a regular sewn bind off. I just make sure that I don't pull it too tight, and that's more than enough stretch for his little leg. And I think that's what I've used on mine and Kendall's as well. And I use the Turkish cast on for the toe. And I completely forgot, because I was just kind of absorbed in the driving and the knitting. And I just went ahead and did her pattern. But I then remembered that so with her pattern, she suggests that you are increasing every other row for that toe up to a certain amount. And if I were doing an adult sock, I know that I switched this and I did a reversed rounded toe using my own recipe, because I like a rounded toe. This is okay for a little person sock. You can see that it is a little bit of a wedge, but it's not that much of a wedge because I'm working on fewer stitches. So I was okay with that. But anytime that I've done this for myself, I've actually re-engineered that toe so I don't get a wedge toe. But yeah, they're so cute. So now I've got to get that second one done and get this shipped out to him with his sweater. And
yeah, it'll look good with the sweater because it's kind of got that color.
Yeah. Actually, it does. It's got that one little beige stripe, and then some of the leaves may kind of coordinate with that too. Yep. And yeah, it'll all come together. So, okay. And you? Okay.
So my next whip is a pattern by Marie Wallen. And I just need to find it.
Oh, I haven't seen this one in a while.
No, because I the one that I started and didn't have anything done. Okay, well, there's a little bit of a tale of woe.
Oh no.
Okay, so you can see this is not on a needle. But anyway, okay, so this is the Bottle Vest by Marie Wallin. It is in her Erin book. So gorgeous colors.
Beautiful.
So anyway, so I started it and I did the smallest size. And this is exact to measurement for the smallest size. What I didn't take into consideration was that the smallest size, and it's a vest, still finished like almost 40 inches around, which I will finish a big sweater 40 inches around, but 40 inches
not
around
a
in a vest is too big for me. Well, I got this up so far and I tried it on and I thought there was just like way too much positive ease. So I hummed and hawed and I thought, do I keep going and just wear it as this? And I thought, no, I'm not going to wear it if it's like that big. So I took this off the needles, I restarted it, and I've gotten.
There you go.
So there's my actual real size. And this, but what I had to do because I
was going to say,
I had to go and readjust the pattern. So I had to go and I actually took out 36 stitches out of the pattern. So I had to kind of figure out where my start and end points were going to be. And it really wasn't too bad to do.
Is it a V-neck?
No.
Okay.
No, it's a round neck. And like my row gauge and everything my gauge is fine. It's just that the actual smallest size of the pattern was too big for me. So I had to go back and it's working out perfectly now. This is going to be about maybe 33 inches around, which might just give me like no positive ease, no negative ease. It'll just be, but then that's obviously around here too. So there's still going to be a little bit of negative ease around here.
Yeah.
But it's super easy, super fun to knit. There's only ever 2 colors per row. And
is that a worsted weight?
Yes, it's a worsted weight. Yeah. It's a 20 stitch gauge. So I'm doing it on a 4.5 millimeter needle. So I am already at the point where I have divided I've cast off stitches for the arm. Now I was going to steek it. That's another thing. I set it all up for a steek in this. I set it up for a steek. And then I really thought about it and I thought, you know what, this is like thick because it's 2 strands of a worsted to Aran weight yarn. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to like that steek, like especially around here and around here, because it's going to be quite thick. I don't think this is going to be that bad to knit back and forth because there's not a whole lot of stitches. And I've knit Colorwork flat before. So I decided maybe I'm better off if I just do it back and forth, not have to worry about the thickness of the steek. So I went back again and took it out and got back to here. And that's how I'm going to do it. So this is not coming with me either, but this will come with me when on the way to Rhinebeck, because I'm confident that I can get this done in time for Rhinebeck. Because that basically I think I did this in just a little over a day. So because like I said, it goes fast. Colorwork is so engaging. I can't put it down. I love doing it. So yeah. So anyway,
it's really pretty. I love those colors.
I really like it. Yeah, I love the colors. And I think it'll go with a lot. But then I just bought this little pleated gray flannel skirt to go with it.
Very nice.
So I have to finish it now. So
yeah. Natalie, no, I'm not going to make a bunch of little socks out of that same one ball so that he can match up any 2 he wants. No, I'm not. Even on tiny little socks, that DRK sock takes some time. I will say that, that 2x2 rib for the entire sock. So no, I'm going to dig into those balls so that I can get a matched pair.
Okay. And Natalie, no, the stitch repeat was 36 stitches 36 stitches. So that's why I kind of had to adjust but it kind of went, I could kind of figure it out by looking at how it went up in the bigger sizes. I could take it back down. So,
okay. The last thing I guess that I actively worked on this past week, which I talked about last time, but I'll just show you now that I'm home. I think I put on about 2 inches. So I really have to get this done because I want to wear it. This is the time to be wearing this. So I've got to concentrate on this week, but this is my, wrong place to look, Kelly. Just a moment. It's my Sea Haven by Jennifer Shields Tolan. I'm going to do, I don't know if it's going to be a long sleeve or not. I started out, I was going to make a short sleeve And then I got thinking, well, maybe I would like some sleeves because it has taken me so long to work on it. So I am going to do sleeves of some sort. They probably won't be a full length sleeve. I rarely do that in a sweater, but they will be something like sort of bracelet length. But I think this will be a really pretty fall sweater. I can see this. I've got
Yeah, it's really
like a
nice.
floral dress that I think this would look really pretty over top of. So I really want to get this done. And I shouldn't have that much more to do. I think I've got about 6 inches done under the armpits. So maybe just another couple of inches before I go into that waistband that's patterned as well. But it's pretty. And this is the Cardi by the Knitting Loft. Love this yarn. We love this yarn. And oh, I don't have a ball band. Do you remember the composition, Noelle?
I think it's 50 merino, 50 hemp.
Yeah. It's lovely. It's so soft. And this color is called White Rose. So it is almost like a blush, but it has these very little subtle pops of like a darker blush in there. So it's very, well, you can see it a little bit more like on the plain knitting, right? You can see those little pops of color.
Yeah.
It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous yarn to work with. I do really like it. I love the sweater. Why have I languished? Why have I languished? I don't know, because I want to finish it now. So, okay, that's it. I've had it out tonight. I've looked at it. Got to go. Okay. You've got one more, you said?
I don't have one more, but I have the 2 projects. I'm going to show you the projects I'm taking with me.
Okay. Of course.
Okay. So the first one is, because I think I'm going to have time to knit, 5 pairs of socks and 2 sweaters away. But
if you had seen the things I took with me, thinking I'd have so much time.
Okay, so the first one is Little Love by Ankastrict. And I do have a picture. Because I was trying to figure, I want it to be like easy enough, but engaging enough. So this is the sweater, and I am going to do it in this. So this is Retrosaria Pomar Mondim, which is 100% non-superwash Portuguese wool. And this color, I don't know what the color name is, but it's kind of just like a dusty lavender color. But I think this yarn will really show off that stitch definition in the pattern.
So. Yeah.
And it's just like kind of like an open cardigan. It's got an I-cord around the edge. And I do think that that will really show up nice with that. And this is, I only have to bring 3 balls with me because, of course, I'm going to get into the 3rd ball in 2 weeks along with the other.
You very well might. You very well might.
Anyway, so that's project number 1. And then the other one is the Selwood Tea by Caitlin.
Yes, that one was on my list.
Selwood Tea by Caitlin Hunter. Yes. And I am going to do that one in just a minute here if I take the picture down. I am going to do that one in, this is the Knitting Loft Starlight.
Oh, that's going to look great.
So, and this is going to be part of my Rhinebeck outfit too, because that will go under my Yell cardigan that I did by Marie Wallen. It's got that dark color in it. And I'm going to make this a Marie Wallen Rhinebeck, because they're outside sweaters. I think that'll look really nice underneath it. If I get too hot with the cardigan on, I can take that off because it's just a tee. But this is a sport weight yarn. The pattern calls for sport weight, and I think that's going to work up gorgeous in that.
I think so too.
So those are the projects I'm taking with me, along with the socks that I'm doing, and probably 2 more balls of sock yarn just in case.
Why not? Why not?
I'll just have to leave home some clothes.
There could be some rough days at sea, and you may need to have some knitting. So there you go.
I might. So anyway.
Okay.
So. Okay. Did you buy anything? Do you have any more whips?
No, I don't have any more whips. And no, I didn't buy anything. But yes, I got something. But I wanted to show the pictures from the yarn stores that I visited first, if that's okay. So the first one that I went to was Slipped Knits in Rapid City, South Dakota. And let me just pull these up. And Kim is the store owner there. This is Kim. She has a very lovely little store. And yeah, there I am in all my camping glory. I'm telling you, it's not a glamorous life, the camping, not at all. Anyway, her store is beautiful. This yarn here is yarn that she is in-house dyeing. So she has some various weights. I did buy some of that yarn that's on the left. That was the bamboo, and something very soft and luscious. I'm so sorry.
Bison?
I forget what it was. No, that wasn't the bison. That was in another store. But anyway, that maybe it was alpaca because it's pretty. Yeah, I think it was alpaca and bamboo. And I bought 2 skeins of that. It's all natural colors. She had these very interesting, cute little, it's like more than just notions. It was like cool little things. There's a little cutting board in there and there's little note cards, really nice little section of her store. I really thought that sheep was very cool. That was the first sheep I saw on the trip. She's got a nice assortment of bags. And this is the other corner of the store. It's just a really pretty little store. And some sock yarns, some cute little critters up top. And then they also, oh yes. So every day that they get together, they call it something different. And this is Norman. And if you look on her website, you'll see Knitting with Norman. And when I saw it on her website, I thought, oh, is this like a celebrity knitter that comes to the shop and people to get together and knit with Norman? I don't know. But when I got to the store, I got to meet Norman. And Norman is this lovely little dachshund. And that is his pride of place throne. And people all just sort of knit around him. But so the other thing that I have, and I'm going to play this, it's she was teaching a class with these very cute scrappy hats. I immediately thought of Natalie and all of her scrappy goodness, but these hats were stunning. And so I'm just going to play this for you. It's a couple of minutes, but enjoy.
Okay, so this is my Hideous to Fabulous class. We all have leftover yarns, sock yarns especially. And so what I do is get people to put things together that they think are hideous. And then I teach them how to take those yarns. It was hard to come up with colors.
Very hard.
Some people don't like hideous, but look at her results. This is the beginning of her hideous. And so I give them different options for the bottoms as far as different bottoms, how we can create different brims. Mm-hmm. But I want people to be able to make a hat with one needle on a trip, so you don't have to make this in a smaller needle, then go to a bigger needle, and teach them some just different techniques on how to make those colors.
That's
just
a great
pop.
idea.
It's so much fun.
And that's beautiful scrappy.
Yeah, beautiful scrappy. And they're all just,
look at this one.
Getting somebody to pick hideous yarns that they think is hideous is the biggest problem.
I have a hard time with scrappy.
Yeah.
I can't do scrappy socks. My socks need to match. But
and it's
these
funny
because
I had the scale. Yeah, I have this, and they all bring some, so they show up with this is hideous.
It's not hideous.
I
It's
know,
just
it's
what
beautiful.
I had.
I know she doesn't have great.
I don't buy hideous yarn.
Which would be lovely.
Why
but
would I
I
buy
told her
hideous yarn?
we got to throw something else in there, so we're gonna hold this for another hat, and we went
So then
hideous.
I went hideous.
Because it's fun to throw something in there that they don't know and show them the pop and take them out of their wheelhouse and see how happy they are with the results. And I did let some of you, we did a little tester. If they really didn't like it, they could take it out after some discussion.
You did.
I did. And so these girls here are doing 2 at a time socks.
Lovely.
At one time, that's how this group started. And yeah, so that's what they're all doing. And yeah, it's a lot of fun here.
Great.
I try and teach them how to use new yarn and old yarn, and we do yarn bingo and all kinds of fun things. Sure you can't stay for a while? We can put you up. It's a lot.
Isn't she fun? Wouldn't you love to spend time in that store?
Yeah.
She had such great energy, and all of the ladies there that day were so welcoming. And so I just wanted to put a spotlight on that. So again, that's Slip Knits in Rapid City, South Dakota. And then the second store that I went to, and this is where I got the buffalo yarn, is Wyoming Yarn and Fiber, and the store owner is Carista. Just get down to these pictures. So I'll show you. This is Carista. Her store is gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. It's quite big. It looks small from the outside, but when you get inside, it's beautiful. This is her front window. Just to the right of this, she has this gorgeous big couch. Mike thought it was there for him, but it's there for anybody to enjoy. And I can imagine that when they have knit nights and get-togethers, they could really enjoy this store. Lots of good selection in here. Some yarns I hadn't seen, some that I had. Again, this is where I got the bison yarn. She also is the yarn dyer, so she's dyeing in-house as well. And just a beautiful, beautiful store. It was really, really lovely. I would definitely hang out and knit there. She also had this cute little selection, again, of the non-knitters items, like sort of coordinating things that go with our knitting, like lovely little teapots, fancy teas, gourmet teas, tea towels there you can see. I'm assuming that's for weaving, Noelle?
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like cottons.
Yes. And then this is a close-up picture of the hat that I bought the kit for as well. This is the Roosevelt National Park hat. I didn't go to that national park, but I did find myself in the midst of a herd of bison. So I thought this was relevant and I really, really liked it. So that's the Wyoming yarn and fiber in Cody. But then our lovely friend Jenny sent me this. So when she knew that I was traveling to national parks, she had bought some kits. Of course she did, because, you know, she's a prolific knitter and shopper, if we're being honest. And this is actually the Grand Tetons hat, I believe. Let me just check. Yes, this is the Grand Teton hat from Wyoming, and I did wrap up my trip in the Grand Tetons, which was like a wonderful finish for me. So this is a picture of the hat.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
And
nice.
These little flowers on the bottom. I actually saw those yellow flowers in the Grand Tetons, and they are like little French knots. So she had bought these kits. Her mother wanted to make hats, and in true Jenny style, she was concerned that the one kit wouldn't have enough for the hat, so she bought two kits, you know. So she sent me everything she had left over from the one kit was all of these little ends. But then, because, you know, she was worried she'd run out, she had bought an entire second kit. So she sent me the second kit, and she popped this in the mail right away because she wanted me to have this to travel with. And our mail systems between the US and Canada weren't talking, and I didn't get it before I left. But that's okay, because now that I'm home and now that I've seen the Tetons, I actually think this will even have more meaning as I'm knitting it. I will be remembering. So I'm looking really forward. Thank you so much, Jenny, for your incredible kindness to get this to me. Really, it's really special. Okay. And that's all I got this week. So that was waiting for me when I got home. Did you get anything?
Nope.
Oh, slow week, Noelle.
Slow week. So anyway. Okay, so we should maybe quickly talk about our knit-alongs.
Yes.
Because they will be ending. Actually, by the time we podcast again, there will be 2 sock months to do.
Yes. Sorry.
So, okay. So first we've got our sock knit along, which goes all year long, and all you have to do is finish socks. So once you finish them, put them in the FO thread. We draw 2 prizes for every month. One is a sock pattern prize, generously donated by our friend Natalie from Remembrances Pottery, and the other one is a sock yarn prize. So we will also have a year-end prize. So get your socks in there. And the more times you enter, the more times you have a chance to win, because we draw right back from the beginning of January. So, okay. So Kelly, do you want to talk about the Advent along?
Okay, so the Advent along is take the December Advent pressure off. And we are wrapping our way through a year, and we are heading quickly now into December. So if you have joined in this Advent along, then bless you, because your December should be a little bit more stress-free. Noelle is knitting a pair of socks a month. I am knitting 1 pair of socks for the entire year that is in the Advent along. And I'm actually knitting Natalie's socks, and it's her cozy quilt socks. So I'm knitting a couple of stripes a month. I've already got my first sock done. And this is for those of you that have always wanted to join in some sort of Advent knitting, but you may be like myself and Noelle, and your Decembers are very busy and you just can't commit, but you want to have that project. And say,
that's right.
So you work on this throughout the year. We've broken it down into quarters. We are drawing a prize from the chatter each quarter. So the next prize will be coming up at the end of September. And then at the end, towards the end of the year on December 1st, we will open the finished object thread. And then we will draw a prize at the end of December for that. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be socks. It could be, I think Julie is working on a sweater, actually Natalie's sweater again, the Merry Mint sweater. So she's doing some of it each month to follow along. I know I've seen some people in there doing squares for Afghans.
Yep.
We're doing socks.
Could be
It
ornaments.
could be anything. It could be ornaments. Yep. I think there's a couple of gnome projects in there that are super cute. So it's really anything that you like. And it's not too late to join in. You can catch up. It might be a little bit of catching up at this point, but you're welcome to join in. And we're looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with when they're finished in December.
Yep. And the final one that we have going on at the moment is a try on a new designer make-along. So all you have to do for that is use a pattern from a designer that you have not used before. So it doesn't matter, could be a little known designer, it could be a really well-known designer, as long as you haven't knit from them before. I don't know if Kelly could enter this because she can't remember who she knit from before or not.
I'd get called out for cheating pretty quickly, I think.
But anyway, it's just a new to you designer, and it can be knitting or crochet. The only thing that we ask there, it can be a garment, a toy, an accessory, just no socks, because we have our sock knit along going on as well. So, and that actually ends September the 30th. And we actually also have at the Advent along, we also have a prize that we'll be giving out for the end of the third quarter for the Advent along as well. So get all your projects in there, and we'll have lots of prizes to draw when we get back together.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so while we're in here too, I want to wish Colette a happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday,
she said it's
Colette.
her birthday today. So what a great way to spend a day here with us and all your friends knitting in the Knit Chat Cafe. Thank you so much. And I had a couple of things started that I wanted to point out. So Susan had a question earlier. She knitted a sweater that is baby lamb wool and it is too big, and she's wondering how to make it smaller.
If it was me, I would wait till the baby grew into it.
No. The sweater is baby lamb wool. Sorry, I should show it up here. The sweater is
not a baby sweater?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's baby lamb wool and it's too big. And she's wondering how to make it smaller. Well, Noelle took hers out and reknit it, Susan. Yep. You could take the chance on trying to shrink it down a bit, but boy, oh boy, I feel like that
I would say
so easy.
If you were going to try that, I would probably knit up a little swatch and see what the felting process was like on your swatch before I would attempt to
I feel that was
to the whole
felt
sweater.
really easy.
Yeah,
I do.
So
yeah, but try a swatch.
Nikki had asked if the Advent along could be spinning, and yes, it can.
Yes.
So.
And Gwyn wanted to know if I saw any moose in the Tetons and were there elk. We did see elk, and we saw a moose not in the Tetons, but we saw a moose in Yellowstone. Well, to be fair, we saw the hind end of a moose in Yellowstone. But we did see a lot of everything else. There were so many animals there. So, okay. That's what I had for comments.
Okay. Julia said she's talking about the sweater. She said steek it.
Oh.
That might be an option. I'm not I don't know if it was a cardigan or if it was a pullover. That definitely is an option because you could take out here, or if it's a cardigan, you could take out some here, but it all depends on the shape and the makeup of the garment. So
yeah. And Colette's talking about the Grand Teton hat again. That was sort of my idea, Colette, was to make the hat while I traveled and then be in one of the parks and get a picture of it. But that's okay. I will have memories of the parks when I wear the hats. So I'm okay. All right. Okay. Well, I think we are at the end of our show for the evening. It's you have to pack. What time do you leave tomorrow?
I have to pack 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Well, yeah, you better get at it because you go to bed soon.
Yeah. Well, and I can't pack first thing in the morning because Ross is still sleeping. So,
well, he might be up early tomorrow.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Okay. So take care, everybody, and get all that knitting in there. And thanks so much for joining us. We, again, really look forward to and enjoy this. And yeah, so we'll have lots to share next time we catch up. Take care. Happy knitting. We will see you soon.